Hey everyone, it's Amber. Today I'm going to be doing an anti-haul and what I'm buying instead. I have done these videos for several years. I love going through my collection and finding things that I'm not using, that I'm rediscovering, and kind of look at what my wish list would be and then use those things to replace things on my wish list. So therefore I'm saving money and not spending as much. So today is going to be the holiday edition of my anti-haul. So I have been making a list for quite some time of all the things that I've been seeing that I'm like, I need this or I need that, and then kind of keeping track of how much they are so that I can be adding up what I'm actually saving. All right, so the first thing is Tarte came out with a bunch of new Tarte palettes. I have a bunch of them, some that are Sephora exclusive, some that are Ulta exclusive, but they have the paint palette, which is $49. And when I swatched it, it was okay, but I wasn't blown away by like the color and the quality. And I did buy several years ago a Tarte palette, and I feel like I got a good taste of kind of what Tarte's all about. I put it in these little, these are actually art containers, but they work as Z palettes. And then I have the shadows and I have the blushes in here. So if I kind of get a craving for some Tarte palettes where you get to try a lot of products, I just pull these out and I get to use some Tarte shadows that I already have. And with the Tartelette palette and so many other Tarte palettes, I'm sure you probably have something in your collection that's Tarte if you're an avid makeup buyer. So you can just use one of those and probably get very similar looks. Next is a big palette from Too Faced, and this is the Too Faced Chocolate Shop. So that is nice because it comes with an array of shadows and a bronzer and some blushes. But I do already own the Chocolate Bonbons and the regular Chocolate Bar palette. And I already own the Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I have the mini blush sizes. So when I thought about it, it really isn't something I want to buy because I already have so many Too Faced products, and typically Too Faced will give you kind of similar layout where they'll do some shimmers, some mattes, some neutrals, and then they'll pop in like a purple or something like that. And since I have these, I think I could get some really pretty looks out of these. Next is the Hourglass palette. Hourglass has brought out a palette that's very similar to the one last year, except for it has a little bit different products in it. I do believe it has a bronzer and blushes and not just the highlighting powders. You're definitely not getting as much product per price per gram as you are in like the individual pans, so I know a lot of people suggest buying those. But if I want kind of that lightly iridescent shimmery look and don't want like a super strong highlighter, I know these aren't going to be comparable exactly with formula and everything. I do have the illuminating palette from e.l.f. and I also have the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana, and this works really great when I just want like that luminous look to my face, but I don't necessarily want to wear like a heavy highlighter. This is really awesome. And I do have some like mineralized things that are really nice and soft that I think could give me a comparable look. Next is the Vice lipstick palette. Now this lipstick palette is genuinely beautiful, and I've heard such wonderful things about it, but I don't know that it's super practical for someone who's not applying makeup on people as a makeup artist. Now, when I was working more, I actually did do brides and homecoming and proms and things like that. But right now, in my life, I really don't do a lot of application on other people. Once in a while for like a favor. Because I'm not doing makeup on other people and just doing makeup on myself, I don't really find the need to have a palette. It just seems like more of a pain to have it like with a brush and everything. But it's beautiful, and if it's something that you feel like you like working with, like a brush and stuff, it could be a good investment to try out a lot of colors. But I do already own a ton of lipsticks. I have another drawer back here that has a bunch of lipsticks in it. And honestly, I feel like with all these lipsticks, I'm never going to be able to use them all up before they go bad anyway. And since I don't really need that format exclusively to do on other people, then it's something that I can pass on. Next is Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. This palette is a dream for anyone who has hooded eyes. They are all matte shades. They have some warm and cool tones. They swatch beautifully. It's buttery. There's really no reason not to buy it. The reason why I decided not to get it is I only picked one palette, and I picked this when I got my 10,000 subscriber mark. I bought this for a little present to myself because I really wanted to try the Lorac Pro formula, and I usually end up buying one holiday palette a year, so this was the holiday palette that I picked out for myself. And because of that, When I was looking through all the palettes, I was looking at the Basics palette as well, but I just thought this had so many mattes, but then it also had all these shimmers, and I just felt like there was no point in me getting both because I could get similar looks with this as I could as the Urban Decay Basics. So if you do already have a lot of neutral shades that are matte, then it probably could be something that you could pass on as well. The next thing on my wish list is the Smashbox blush palette. Now, I thought this was so beautiful because it just had a lot of wearable shades. But then I'm like, you know, I did get this Benefit box set a couple years ago for holiday. And then recently I picked up from City Color this blush palette, which is super affordable. I think this was like under $15. And I've got these two blush palettes plus a whole drawer full of blushes, so I really didn't feel like I needed to have another blush palette. Next is the Urban Decay Spectrum palette. There is no denying that this palette is beautiful. It is pigmented, has every bright color you would ever want. And if you don't have a lot of bright colors, this might be something that's straight up your alley. But last year, my holiday purchase was Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca palette. And when I look at this and then I look at the Spectrum palette, I don't really see anything that's in that palette that I don't already have here. I pretty much have the full rainbow spectrum. I have a mix of mattes and shimmers. I have some neutrals in the middle. So really, there's no way that I personally could justify buying that when I already have this and can pretty much make any colorful look that I want. Next, I have seen some really cool tutorials using the Touch and Soul glitters. And I just thought they were so pretty and pigmented. And then one day I started playing around with some of my pigments and I pulled out this one from MAC. This is in pink bronze. And when I started playing with this, I was like, man, that looks so much like that look. And I actually was able to recreate a look that someone did using this on the lid. Now that's just a dry swatch. Now let me go ahead and spray a little bit of primer. Okay, I've wet my finger and now I'm going to give you a wet swatch. And all of a sudden you get this crazy metallic pinky bronze look. And no, it is not glitter like the Touch and Soul. But once I applied it to my eye and then I looked at the tutorial I was watching, I was like, it looks pretty dang similar to me. And guess what? I already own this, so money saved. All right, the Mario palette. Oh my gosh, this palette has been so hyped and is probably beautiful and amazing and pigmented. And it's probably everything everyone's saying about it. But then I started looking at it and I started looking at the swatches and I'm like, you know what? That looks kind of similar to my chocolate bar. It's got a green, it's got some brown, some neutrals. Is it a dupe? No. Is it gonna have shade for shade, even similar comparisons? Probably not. But overall, when I looked at that palette and looked at this, I just felt like, you know, I feel like I have enough colors that are similar, especially with just using this palette that I already have and love, that I don't really need to buy that one. So Tarte also released another palette, which was the Tarte Pro palette. This one does look amazing. The thing I liked about it was that it had so many warm and burgundy type tones. This was the one purchase I made for my last anti-haul video, and this was actually, I guess it's considered a purchase. I got it for my birthday. So this was the one thing I ended up getting from that. Everything else I ended up not buying, so yay! But when I look at this and see all the warm tones in there, and I look at the Tarte Pro palette, I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm getting enough use out of this because I have this and I have the Lorac 3 and all these other palettes that I really feel like it's something that I can pass on. Also using my Modern Renaissance palette is the new Kylie Jenner Eyeshadow Burgundy palette. I thought the exact same thing. Like, it has beautiful golds and raspberries and burgundy tones. Again, this palette, still not getting enough love. So don't really need to buy another palette that's almost the exact same thing. Alright, so one palette that I am kind of having a hard time not purchasing is the new Kathleen Lights Morphe palette. I don't have any Morphe shadows, and I know some people love them, some people hate them, so whatever your opinion is, that's fine. I've never tried them, so I don't have opinion personally, but I love Kathleen Lights. I just think she's so amazing and awesome and beautiful and just genuine, and I would love to support her and her collaborations. And it's only like $14.99, which is like an amazing price, but it just basically goes down to, do I have enough shadows already? Yes. Would it be something that I felt like I might purchase in the future? Maybe. This is still one where I dig into the palettes that I use a little bit more professionally before I got into the YouTube brands, which is, this is Mirabella. And I look at just the array of neutrals and colors I have, and I'm just like, do I need another palette? No. Do I want another palette? Yes. So Makeup Geek is a brand that I have yet to try. I don't know how that is possible. I keep saying I want to have some of their shadows. I've included them in several anti-hauls before, but I just haven't gotten around to purchasing anything from them. Partially because I start putting things in my cart and I get so overwhelmed, and then I watch like 10,000 Makeup Geek videos on what's the best shadows, and then the list gets so long that it's like $300, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I close out my cart and I don't buy anything. Am I the only one who does this? Like, you start adding things up and it gets to be so much that you're like, abandon ship, I will buy nothing. So I've yet to try any Makeup Geek products, but they did come out with some amazing highlighters, and some of them which were duochrome. So when I looked at my collection to see what I could use instead, I found my Essence So Glow, and I actually ended up purchasing this at Target. I have not seen this at Ulta, but they do have it at Target, and this is a cream highlighter, so it's a different consistency completely where those are foiled, but it kind of has that pinky undertone that has a little hint of duochrome. And then also from ColourPop, I have Monster, and this is beautiful too. This has a little bit more of the pink shift in it. And so I'm like, well, you know what? I'll just pull these back out and start using these, and then I can have some fancy duochrome cheeks. Last two things is, one, the Tarte blush palette. It looks amazing. It has so many colors in it. I think any blush lover would love to have that, but just in general, with everything I've showed you today, my blush palettes, my Tarte blushes already have, like, seriously, I have blush drawer full of blush. If you've seen my declutter blush video, then you know what kind of collection I have. I don't need more blush. Will I buy more blush in the future? Probably, but not today, my friend, not today. And the last one is the Natasha Denona Star Palette. This palette does look amazing. It is creamy matte and a lot of shimmers. I've heard the shimmers can be hard to work with. They might have a little bit of fallout. $165. Like, do I even need to say anything? Like, wow. I mean, let's just think about how many palettes I could buy with $165. You could have bought yourself a Lorac Pro 3, a Modern Renaissance palette, a Too Faced chocolate bar palette, and still have some money for mascara. I mean, you can buy so much stuff with $165. So just keeping it real as always, ladies. Again, I will link my playlist of all my anti-hauls. They go back several years, so I have, you know, 4 or 5 videos that I've done. And I hope you guys enjoyed this and save those dollars. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!